What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Stefan, and tonight I'm going to be talking about and celebrating one of the greatest, influential, historic, cool, multi-talented, and breathtaking, gorgeous beauties / vocalists who changed music. So sit back and enjoy yourself on this musical tribute with me throughout the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to the channel if you're a returning subscriber. Thanks for your support. Now, here we go. Happy birthday to one of the greatest, historical, influential, multi-talented, gorgeous, and quintessential artists of all time. But referred to as the Songbird Supreme and the Queen of Christmas, she is noted for her 5-octave vocal range, singing style, and signature use of the whistle register. With hits such as Vision of Love and I Don't Wanna Cry, Mariah Carey holds the record for most #1 debuts in Billboard's Hot 100 history. At 18, Mariah Carey signed with Columbia Records, and her first album had 4 #1 singles, including Vision of Love and I Don't Wanna Cry. Mariah went on to generate several more albums later with other studios and top singles, becoming the most commercially successful artist of all time with 19 #1 hits and more than 200 million records sold. There's no denying that Mariah Carey could blow. And not to mention, she given us hit after hit since the 90s. And while she may be considered old school to some, but because she been around for decades, she is still as relevant as she was back then. Growing up in the 90s, there was nothing but amazing and unique musical talent, and especially in R&B. The first Mariah Carey song I was introduced to as a kid was Vision of Love, which is my #1 all-time favorite song from her that made me into a lifetime fan. OMG, she was one of my favorite childhood, breathtaking, gorgeous childhood crushes. She's so gorgeous with an amazing voice that was so different and unique from everybody else. The 90s was one of the best musical and entertaining eras to grow up in. During the 90s, the women were ruling the charts heavily, from your favorite girl groups to your favorite female solo vocalists. They were very successful. Like, some of your favorites that were very successful on the charts was like TLC, Janet Jackson, Brandy, Aaliyah, Monica, Toni Braxton, Elle Rose, etc., etc. Having major success on the charts, but to me, Mariah and Whitney ruled the Billboard charts throughout the 90s with an iron fist. Like, they dominance were undeniable. Records shattering amazing, historical, influential, and undisputed. I know I never believed in that so-called rivalry between these two incredible queens. The media always pinning successful women against each other constantly to make better stories and to instigate drama. By the time 20-year old Mariah Carey released her first single, Vision of Love, in 1990, Whitney Houston already released 2 multi-platinum albums. The first, which she released at the age of 22, with the hits like The Greatest Love of All and I Wanna Dance with Somebody. Like both queens had powerhouse voices, and so naturally they were likened to one another. The two artists were arguably some of the biggest divas of their time and had the voices to back it up. However, most people think that the singers didn't like each other much, which was nothing but rumors. Whitney Houston was already a multi-platinum selling musician. However, when her and Mariah debut album sold over 15 million copies worldwide, and Whitney's third album sold 5 million, the press compared the singers trying to instigate a so-called rivalry between them. In a early interview, Mariah mentioned that the comparison flattered her. She said, "When you're new, you have to be compared to someone. There are a lot of worse people I could be compared to. She is a superstar and a great vocalist. Because of their all-star power and a all-around diva attitude, the two were occasionally compared and said to be rumored in a few, but they end up collaborating on a song and put those rumors to rest." When these two queens recorded When You Believe together for the film of Prince of Egypt, it thoroughly changed the dynamic of their relationship. The song was really popular and even won an Oscar for best song in 1999. The singers talked about each other a lot during the press tour and denied any rivalry, squashing all the rumors all together. She added, "We had fun, so there was if nothing else, it was a good experience, and divalism, whatever. It was the start of their beautiful friendship." Their friendship continued at the 1998 Music Awards, where they showed up on opposite sides of the stage to present the award for Best Male Video together, both wearing the same brown dress. This moment was my all-time favorite VMA moment when they jokingly about wearing the same dress. Mariah did a quick change, tearing away a part of her long gown, revealing a short hemline. Unfortunately, I come prepared for moments like this. Of course, Whitney followed, revealing a slightly different cut but equally stunning dress. As they showered each other with compliments, they sealed the bit with a hug. The two repeated the coordination by wearing white gowns when they performed When You Believe together at the 1999 Academy Awards. When You Believe went to win a Oscar in 1999 for Best Song. When Whitney Houston passed away on February 11th, 2012, Mariah showed nothing but respect for her friend, even attending her funeral in Newark, New Jersey. In a 2019 interview, she said, "What has to change in our industry the most is depending on women against each other." She said in 2019. We didn't know each other, but she was one of the greatest of all time. And then when we finally did a duet together that won an Oscar, we had the best time working together. It was female camaraderie. We both got it. We were like, she doesn't hate me. We were actually having a good time together, and this is more fun than I ever had working alone ever. So I think camaraderie with women you respect is a huge deal. She echoed that same sentiment while talking to Billboard. Working with Whitney was an experience I never forget. It was a bonding experience. We really put all the rumors and the nonsense behind us that there was a feud. I don't think people could really understand our relationship and friendship, she told Good Morning America. There was always this supposed rivalry in the beginning, and then when we did the duet and became friends, I saw her towards the end. And I loved her. Her legend go on forever. Mariah Carey was born on March 27, 1969 or 1970 in Long Island, New York. Her name was derived from the song they called The Wind Marie, originally from the 1951 Broadway musical Paint Your Wagon. She is the youngest of three children born to Patricia Hicks, a former opera singer and vocal coach of Irish descent, and Alfred Roy Carey, a engineer of African American and Afro-Venezia heritage. She also has two older siblings, a brother Morgan and a sister Allison. Her parents divorced when she was 3 years old. She stunned her mother by imitating her singing as early as age 2 and was given singing language starting at the age of 4. Eventually, she developed a voice that expanded 5 octaves. After graduating in 1987 from Hartfield High School in Green Lawn, New York, she moved to Manhattan, where she worked as a waitress and a coat check girl and studied cosmology while writing songs and actively pursuing a music career at night. She landed a gig singing for backup for freestyle singer Brenda K. Starr, who was a 80s pop and R&B sensation. It was Brenda who handed her demo to then chairman and CEO of Sony Music Entertainment, Tommy Mottola, who later became her first husband. launching her superstar career when she was 18 years old. Carey and her friend Brenda K. Starr went to a party hosted by CBS Records. Brenda convinced Mariah to bring along one of her demo tapes. She intended to give the tape to Jerry Greenberg, but Tommy Mottola, the president of Columbia Records, later Sony intercepted before she could hand it to Greenberg. After listening to the tape all the way home from the party, he immediately signed her. On June 12, 1990, she released her classic self-titled debut on Columbia Records. It became a commercial success, topping the U.S. Billboard 200 album charts for 11 consecutive weeks. Mariah Carey was certified 9 times platinum. It included 4 #1 singles: Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Wanna Cry. Worldwide, the album sold more than 15 million copies. At the 33rd Annual Grammys Award, where she won the award for Best New Artist, Best Female Pop Vocalist Performance for her single Vision of Love. Mariah Carey was the best-selling album in the U.S. in 1991. Her 1991 sophomore album Emotions was released on September 17, 1991. The title track, the album lead single, became her 5th chart topper on the Billboard Hot 100, making her the first artist to have their first 5 singles reach the chart summit. The album included the hits Can't Let Go and Make It Happen. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200, surprising many critics, following the success of her debut, which spent 11 weeks on top of the chart. While selling far less than Mariah Carey, Emotions was eventually certified 4 times platinum. In March of 92, she appeared on MTV Unplugged. This performance was released as an album and a home video, resulting in a #1 single, a cover of the Jacksons' I'll Be There. It became her 6th #1 single. Sony capitalized on its success and released it as a LP. It earned a triple platinum certification. While at this time, she began to date Tommy Mottola while recording her debut album, and they were married in New York City on June 5th, 1993. After Emotions failed to achieve the commercial heights of a debut album, her third album, Music Box, was released on August 31st, 1993. 4 singles were released from the album. The first 3, Dream Lover, Hero, and Without You, became worldwide chart-topping singles. The latter became her highest charting international single of her career. Without You became her first #1 single in most European markets, reaching the top 3 in the United States. To promote To promote Music Box, she embarked on a short but successful Music Box tour that traveled to select cities in North America. She was nominated for Best Female Pop Vocalist Performance for Dream Lover at the 1994 Grammys Award and received the same nomination for Hero in the 1995 Grammys Award. After its release, Music Box received generally mixed reviews from music critics. The album faced criticism regarding her more mellow and laid-back tone comparison to her previous work. Commercially, the album reached number 1 in 15 countries, including Australia, France, Germany, United Kingdom, and the United States. The album was certified diamond for shipments of 10,000 or 10 million copies across the United States. Music Box remained her highest seller with more than 28 million copies sold worldwide. The second single from Music Box, Hero, became her 8th chart topper in the United States and has been recognized as her signature song. In mid-1994, Mariah recorded and released a duet with Luther Vandross, a cover of Diana Ross and Louis Ritchie, "Endless Love," on the Billboard Hot 100. "Endless Love" debuted on September 10th, 1994 at number 31. It peaked at number 2, held back from the top position by Boyz II Men, "I Make Love to You." The song became Luther Vandross' highest chart pop hit ever and gave Mr. Louis Ritchie his first top 10 as a songwriter in 7 years, and also became Luther's 5th top 10 single and Mariah's 12th. It remained in the top 40 for 13 weeks, and it was ranked number 56 on the Hot 100 1994 and year-end charts. It was also an improvement over her previous single, "Anytime You Need a Friend," which missed the top 10. It was certified platinum. At the 1995 Grammy Awards, the song was nominated for Best Collaboration with Vocals, losing to "Funny How Time Slip Away" by Al Green and Life Love It. "Merry Christmas" is the 4th studio album and the first Christmas song for Mariah that was released on November 1st, 1994. "Merry Christmas" was released at the peak of the initial stress of her career between Music Box in 1993 and Daydream in 1995. The album produced the worldwide classic single "All I Want for Christmas Is You," which became the best holiday ringtone and single in the U.S. with a estimated sales of over 16 million copies worldwide. All I Want for Christmas Is You" is the best-selling holiday song by a female artist and one of the best-selling physical singles in music history. The song was certified diamond. Daydream is her fifth album, released on October 3rd, 1995. With Daydream, she took more control of the musical direction as well as the album composition. She considered the album to be the beginning of her musical and vocal transition. During the album production, she endured so many creative differences with her label and then Tommy Mottola. On Daydream, she collaborated with Jermaine Dupri, Kenneth Babyface Evans, and Boyz II Men. Daydream received critical acclaim, with reviewers praising the album production, its sonic quality, and her music progression. It became her best review album up to that point and gave her 6 nominations at the 38 Grammys Awards, including Album of the Year. Daydream became a global success, topping the charts in 9 countries, reaching the top 5 in every major music market. Daydream served as her most personal and direct influence album at that time. During the album recording, she grew as an artist as well as a writer. For the first time in her career, she was able to make music she truly related to, R&B and hip hop. It was her second album to be certified diamond. It was the first songs one of the first songs that was recorded for the album was Fantasy. While she was developing new ideas for Daydream, she heard the song Genius of Love by Tom Club on the radio. She had always been a fan of the song and presented Tom Hall with the idea of sampling the song's hook. Dave Hall incorporated a groove that he felt complimented her voice. While she composed some of the other beats and wrote the lyrics, she recorded a remix to the song as well, featuring hip hop verses from ODB of the Wu-Tang Clan and as well as production from Puff Daddy. She's highly spoke of the remix, complimenting Puff and ODB. He was known in the street. He was known in the streets. He was one of the best people out there. We kind of did what we both do, and having ODB took it to another level. He was my ultimate choice, and I was so happy with the way it turned out. With Columbia allowing her more freedom with the music she recorded, they became hesitant when she featured Old Dirty Bastard for the remix for Fantasy. They feared that the sudden change was completely left field for her music and would jeopardize the album's success. 6 singles were released from Daydream. Fantasy, released as the album lead single, was released on August 23rd, 1995. The song debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making her the first female artist and the second performance to ever accomplish the feature. The song spent 8 consecutive weeks on top of the charts as well, topping the charts. Fantasy was the second best single of 1995 in the U.S. with sales of 1.5 million in 95 alone. One Sweet Day was chosen as the follow-up single, achieving similar success. That song once again debuted at the top of the U.S. charts, and became the longest running number 1 single in the U.S. history, holding that record for 23 years, spending 16 consecutive weeks on top of the Billboard chart. The song became a success in other regions around the world as well. Always Be My Baby was the 4th single. The song debuted at number 2 on the Hot 100, failing to become her third number one debut, a feature she will accomplish with Honey in 1997. The song actually reached and stayed on top for the charts for 2 weeks, and then kept steady for at number 2 for 9 weeks, despite the album's 6 nominations. Although it was considered to be a favorite to win the top award of the evening, the album lost 6 of its nominations and became the biggest snob of the night. In mid 97, after 4 years of marriage, Tommy and Mariah separated on September 16th, 1997. Her 6th album entitled Butterfly was released. With Butterfly, she continued the transition that began with previous album Daydream from 1995, which pushed her further into the R&B and hip hop market and away from the pop background of her previous work. The album contains both hip hop and urban adult contemporary sounds, as well as some softer and more contemporary melodies. She also worked with famed hip hop producers and rappers such as Puff Daddy, Q-Tip, Missy Elliott, and the Trackmasters. Honey was her 3rd single to debut atop of the Billboard Hot 100. Additionally, the song became her 12th topper, breaking 5th place, which she had shared with Madonna and Whitney Houston. It replaced More Money, More Problem by Notorious B.I.G. featuring Puff and Mace, and it replaced Boyz II Men 4 Seasons of Loneliness. At this point, she was tied with the Supreme for fourth most U.S. number ones, behind Michael Jackson with 13 and Elvis Presley and the Beatles with 17 and 20 respectively. Honey was certified double platinum, and Honey was successful in the U.S., becoming her third single debut on the top of the Billboard Hot 100, setting the record for most number one, the debut at number 1, a record she held for 23 years until it was broken. Number 1 for 3 consecutive weeks. It also topped the charts in Canada, reached the top 10 in Australia, New Zealand, Poland, Spain, etc., etc. The song was nominated in 2 Grammys at the 40th Grammy Awards for Best Female Vocalist Performance and Best R&B Song. 5 singles were released from the album, 2 commercial singles, and 3 single promotional singles that included Honey, Breakdown, Butterfly, The Roof, Back in Time, and My All. The album was certified 5 times platinum, and with only 1 album left to fulfill her contract with Sony and a burning desire to separate herself professionally from the record label her ex-husband was still heading, she completed another album in 3 months. On November 2nd, 1999, she released her 7th album entitled Rainbow. As a result of her separation from her husband Tommy Mottola, she had more control of the musical style of this album, so she collaborated with several urban artists such as Jay-Z, Usher, Snoop Dogg, Missy Elliott, Joe, The Brat, Master P, 98 Degrees, and Mystical. The album spawned 5 singles. 2 became #1 hits on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, making Rainbow her 7th consecutive studio album to produce one or more #1 hits. The lead single from the album, Heartbreaker, became her 14th #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. As Rainbow was well received by music critics, who generally praised her embrace of R&B and hip-hop in the music. The album debuted at #2 on the U.S. Billboard 100, with first week sales of 323,000 copies. It was her first album in years not to reach #1. Within a month, Rainbow was certified triple platinum. In July of 2001, she was admitted to a New York area hospital put under special care after suffering what her publicists call a physical and emotional collapse. She has been prepared. At the same time, she's been preparing to promote her upcoming featured film debut and its accompanying soundtrack album, but canceled all public appearance. The release of Glitter was pushed back from late August to late September. She was released from the album after 2 weeks. Both the album and the soundtrack was unsuccessful commercially. The soundtrack became her lowest album at that point. In January 2002, her and EMI, the owner of Virgin Records, who she had signed a reported $80 million contract with in August of 2001's several-day relationship. Although the film and soundtrack for Glitter failed to generate box office and sales totals, she reportedly walked away from Virgin with nearly $50 million as on a part of her agreement. In May of 2002, she signed a deal with Universal Music Group Island/Def Jam Records. On December 3rd, 2002, she released her 9th album entitled Charm Bracelet. April 12, 2005, she released her 10th album entitled The Emancipation of Mimi. The album was considered the comeback album and became her highest selling release in the U.S. in a decade. It's like that was released as the album lead single. Critics predict that the song will reunite her popularity among MTV viewers. It became her highest charting song internationally in years. Peaked at #16 on the Billboard Hot 100. We Belong Together became the album's second single. Became her biggest hits of her career. Became her 16th chart topping single in the U.S., spending 14 weeks on the Hot 100 peak, the longest stay of any song during the 2000s. The song was named Song of the Decades by Billboard. We Belong Together also topped the charts when Shake It Off was the third single released from Emancipation of Mimi. It peaked at #2 after being barred from the top position by her previous single, We Belong Together. became the first. It became the first time in Billboard history that a female artist accompanied the two apply the two top spots on the charts as a lead artist. It was released as a double A side with "Don't Forget About Us" was released as the lead single from the also platinum edition, and overall the fourth album from the album single from the album. The song became her 17th chart topper in the U.S., tying her with Elvis Presley for the most number one singles by a solo artist, a record she will surpass in 2008 with Touch My Body, which we get into in a few minutes. Say Something was released as the fifth single from the album in the U.S. At the same time, Fly Like a Bird was released as a promotional single. Mine's Again was not released as a single, but peaked at number 73 on the Billboard Hot R&B and songs and hip hop songs chart due to sales. The Emancipation of Mimi was the top selling album in the U.S. in 2005, nearly 5 million units sold. And by the last 4 weeks of the album outsold 50 Cent's The Massacre, which has been released more than 6 weeks earlier. The album gave her 8 nominations at the 48 Grammys Awards, including Album of the Year, and won 3 awards, including Best Contemporary R&B album. It became her first album since Butterfly to debut at number 1 on the U.S. Billboard chart, selling over 400,000 copies in its first week and becoming the country's bestseller album of the 2005. This comeback album has sold over 10 million copies, making it the best-selling albums of the 21st century. On April 15, 2008, she released her 11th album entitled M=MC2. E=MC2 debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 463,000 copies sold, the biggest open week sales of her career. The lead single, Touch My Body, from the album, she surpassed Elvis Presley to become second only to the Beatles for most number 1 hit singles in the U.S. In 2008, she met comedian Nick Cannon while they shot the music video for her song Bye Bye on an island off the coast of Andrica. They were married on April 30th, 2008 in the Bahamas. On April 30th, 2011, she gave birth to their fraternal twins, Moroccan and Monroe. In August of 2018, Nick Cannon confirmed that he and Mariah had separated. They filed for divorce on December 12, 2014. It was finalized in 2016. In 2009, she appeared as a social worker in the movie Precious, the movie based on the novel Push. The film gathered mostly positive reviews from critics for her performance in the film. In 2012, she was chosen as new judge for season 12 of the popular Fox television show America's Idol, taking a seat alongside Randy Jackson, Nicki Minaj, and Keith Urban. She continued recording with Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel in 2009, Merry Christmas to You, her second holiday album, and Me, I Am Mariah in 2014. In April of 2018, she opened up in an interview with People's Magazines talking about taking therapy and medication for her struggle with bipolar second disorder. She was diagnosed in 2001 and initially kept the diagnosis private. Also, she proven that she remained one of the top acts in the business with her 15th studio album, Caution, in 2018, which debuted at number 5 in the U.S. and earned mention on numerous albums of the year lists. In 2019, she achieved another milestone when her adoring holiday song All I Want for Christmas Is You hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The 25 years between its release and arrival at the top spot, setting a new Billboard record for longevity. She released her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, on September 29th, 2020. I want to tell the moments, the ups and downs, the triumphs and the traumas, the debates and the dreams that contribute to the person that I am today, she said. When it comes to Queen Mariah, from her vocal style as well as her singing ability, has significantly impacted popular and contemporary music. She is widely considered as one of the greatest vocalists of all time. One of her biggest milestones has been to close out the 90s on a high note. From her presence and style also inspire singers and songwriters all over the world. When people talk about the great influential singers, they talk about Aretha, Whitney, and Mariah. That is a testimony to her talent. Her range is that so amazing. Before I end this birthday tribute to Mariah, I just want to say happy birthday to her and thank you for everything. Thank you for coming on this musical ride with me throughout the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. Subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to turn on your notification for new videos. Stay safe and blessed always. Have a good, safe, and blessed night. I'm out. Peace.